Once upon a time in a festive Christmas town, people were joyfully celebrating. In this town lived a man who was called to work by his serious boss named Henry. Henry had big plans to build a mall in the town, so he bought all the houses, except one. This particular house belonged to an old man, and it was crucial for Henry to acquire it. Accompanied by his worker, Henry approached the old man to buy his house. Despite their efforts, both the old man and his residents stood steadfast. The old man explained that his family had called this place home for many years, and he intended to pass it down to his grandson. Hearing this, Henry and his worker left the old man's house. Meanwhile, the old man's granddaughter visited her friend Vinay. Alone at home, the old man heard a knock on the door. To his surprise, a sinister figure named Angel emerged from a snowman. Dressed in white and wearing a mask, Angel ruthlessly attacked the old man, swiftly ending his life with a knife. The old man's blood flowed, and he perished on the spot. The granddaughter of the old man visited her friend Vinay's house and joined in the festivities of both parties. It turned out that Vinay was the daughter of the worker who accompanied Henry to the old man's house. While at the party, Vinay noticed a girl named Bernie sitting alone and looking very sad. No one seemed to be talking to her, so Vinay cheerfully waved hello to Bernie. Vinay's brother also arrived at the party but eventually wandered behind the trees to spend time with his friend. Suddenly, a strange noise interrupted the merriment as the angel killer made an ominous appearance. Sensing danger, Vinay's brother and his friend quickly left the scene. Vinay's friend, wanting to spend time with her companion, took her aside. To her horror, she discovered her friend's mouth bleeding. Startled, she stepped back and realized that Angel had inserted a large candy cane into her friend's neck. Angel, with bleeding mouth, claimed another victim, and Vinay's friend, terrified by the gruesome sight, hastily fled to save her own life. As Angel closed in, chasing her relentlessly, she ran for her life. He brandished a knife, her arm deflected his attack, causing the knife to become lodged in her flesh. She stumbled and fell onto the bridge, where Angel descended to continue his assault. Despite the peril, she managed to escape and fled to the nearby party house, her hands stained crimson with blood. She banged on the door, pleading for help as terror gripped everyone inside. Angel appeared once more, thrusting his blade into her stomach. Despite the grievous wound, she fought on, enduring his relentless onslaught. Witnessing the horror, Vinay bravely emerged to save her friend, but it was too late. Angel's violence had claimed another life. Suddenly, Angel turned his attention to Vinay, wielding his knife with deadly intent. In the struggle, Vinay's camera shattered, but she fought back fiercely, delivering a decisive blow to Angel's face before fleeing into the jungle. Entering the jungle, Vinay sought refuge behind a tree, but Angel was relentless and quickly closed in, attacking her with a knife. Just as Vinay faced imminent danger, her brother arrived, pushing Angel aside and engaging in a fierce confrontation. However, Angel overpowered Vinay's brother, delivering a forceful kick that sent him sprawling. Despite the setback, he managed to regain control, and the siblings fled. Angel, cunning and determined, caught up with them, focusing his aggression on Vinay's brother. Just in the nick of time, Vinay intervened, administering an electric shock to Angel. Writhing in agony, Angel succumbed, meeting his demise on the jungle floor. When Vinay removed Angel's mask, shockingly, she discovered that it was none other than her father's boss, Annie Henry, unveiling a disturbing truth. The story then fast-forwarded a year. Vinay's brother, now assisting in their father's business, had moved forward, but Vinay remained haunted by the traumatic incident. A message arrived, delivering the disappointing news of her university admission rejection, intensifying Vinay's lingering sorrow. One day, as Vinay walked along the road, she encountered Henry's brother who grabbed her, his face contorted with anger. He accused her of being responsible for his brother's death, threatening revenge. Feeling overwhelmed, Vinay received a message from her friend, inviting her to a Christmas party. Hoping for some relief, she hurried to the event. At the party, her friend confessed their secret relationship, rejoicing that it was finally out in the open. Saddened by this revelation, Vinay left the gathering and found herself standing on a bridge, deep in thought. Suddenly, a strange, luminous light appeared in the sky, surprising her. Feeling overwhelmed with sadness, she wished she had never been born. Just as she dwelled on these thoughts, the light vanished, plunging the town into darkness. In the eerie gloom, Vinay witnessed a man writhing in pain, a knife piercing his eye. It was a chilling sight, a grim reminder of the angel's deadly presence. Fearing for her safety, she sprinted away and sought refuge near a car, breaking its glass to use the radio to call the police. However, to her surprise, Henry's brother, now a police officer, arrived at the scene but failed to recognize Vinay. Confusion clouded both their minds until Henry's brother revealed that the angel was on a killing spree once again. Vinay was stunned by this revelation, grappling with the realization that the angel, whom she believed she had killed the previous year, was still alive. Henry, masquerading as a sympathetic figure, appeared on the scene, further confounding Vinay. Despite her bewilderment, she managed to maintain her composure. After a brief moment, she fled to her house, only to discover that no one recognized her upon arrival. This perplexing turn of events led Vinay to a startling realization: she wasn't meant to exist in this world. The light she saw confirmed her wish to have never been born. This also meant that if she hadn't existed, she couldn't have killed the angel. Deep in thought, Vinay sprinted through the streets, realizing the city was under curfew. Henry's images dominated every corner, signifying his new role as the town's mayor. Adding to his accomplishments, Henry had successfully built the shopping mall he had envisioned. Later, at a Christmas party, Vinay explored a room filled with pictures from the previous year's festivities. Strangely, her image was absent, indicating her non-existence in this world. Outside, two friends stood unsuspecting as the angel seized an opportunity to attack a boy with an axe. The boy, undeterred, fought back, using whatever he could find to ward off the angel. Despite his efforts, the angel persisted, and when the boy attempted to escape, he found the main gate locked. His pleas drowned out by the deafening music, leaving him isolated outside the lively party. As the angel closed in, he swung his axe, striking the boy and ending his life in a gruesome display of violence. With each blow, blood splattered, staining the snow crimson. Moments later, the boy's friend emerged, horrified to find her friend's decapitated head lying in the snow. She screamed in terror, overwhelmed by the grisly sight. Meanwhile, Vinay watched the news on TV, learning of the angel's deadly rampage. Urging people not to remain passive in such troubled times, she emphasized the importance of prioritizing safety. Taking Bernie with her, they sought refuge at Bernie's house. There, Vinay discovered that Bernie, like herself, was keeping a vigilant eye on the killer. Bernie revealed that the children who had been killed were all from families involved in business, their deaths plunging their parents into despair. As a result, Henry gradually consolidated power, becoming the sole proprietor of the entire town. Out of nowhere, the angel crashes through the window and enters the room. Startled, both girls rush towards the exit, but the angel blocks their way at the door, capturing Vinay. Acting swiftly, Vinay breaks free and shoves the angel onto a nearby table before they both flee from the scene. Outside, the sky suddenly lights up with the same radiant glow Vinay had seen before. Bernie senses that this isn't an ordinary occurrence and believes there's a hidden message behind it. Leaving the area, the girls head to a nearby movie theater. The next morning, they find numerous notes detailing stories related to the shining light in the sky. After reading them, both girls are convinced that this is the reason for Vinay's presence in this world. However, they realize that the light is fading fast, indicating Vinay's urgent need to return to her own world. Failure to do so risks trapping her here forever. After further investigation, both girls discovered that Vinay would once again have to confront Henry in order to leave this world. To accomplish this, Vinay needed the assistance of someone close to him. Thus, they went to Vinay's house. However, her father refused to acknowledge Vinay and shut the door in their faces. Vinay's aunt appeared and, after Vinay shared a secret known only to their family, she allowed them inside. Observing her father's sorrow over her brother's death, Vinay introduced him as her brother's friend. She reminisced about old memories, bringing a smile to her father's face. But when she revealed that Henry was responsible for her brother's death, her father's demeanor turned to anger, and they were asked to leave the house. Henry, their once friend, had become their enemy. Suddenly, the angel barged into the house and attacked Vinay's mother, strangling her to death. Afterward, the angel viciously stabbed Bernie's arm, causing her immense pain. Despite her fear, she managed to flee upstairs. Meanwhile, Vinay grabbed a photo frame and struck the angel, causing him to lose his balance and tumble down the stairs, rendering him unconscious. Bernie and Vinay's aunt quickly leapt over the fallen angel and made their way to safety. However, instead of following suit, Vinay opted to confront the situation head-on. She retrieved the angel's knife but hesitated before revealing his true identity. To her horror, Vinay discovered that the angel was none other than her own father. Overwhelmed with fear, she watched as her father regained consciousness. Together, they fled the scene, emerging outside. Vinay shared her observations about her father's unsettling demeanor, prompting her aunt to reveal that he had been in this state for the past year. It became apparent that Henry had taken advantage of Vinay's father's vulnerability, manipulating his mind for sinister purposes. Vinay becomes deeply distressed, realizing that she has no choice but to confront her own father. Together, they devise a plan. Vinay leaves a message for her father outside the theater, indicating their presence inside, and places 3 dolls in their seats as decoys for the angel's arrival. The trio then conceals themselves nearby, awaiting the angel's approach. As someone approaches, Bernie readies the fire extinguisher while Vinay prepares to strike with her bat. However, to their dismay, they discover it's actually Vinay's 2 friends. In a moment of confusion, the angel viciously stabs Vinay's aunt in the stomach, fatally wounding her, plunging the theater into darkness. In the ensuing darkness, Vinay uses her old camera's flash to capture glimpses of the unfolding chaos. Through the camera's light, she witnesses the angel brutally attacking her friend. In the midst of chaos, Bernie approaches the main switch and restores light to the theater. With the angel right before her, Vinay strikes him with a broom, forcing him back, before retreating to the stadium and taking cover. However, the angel had already spotted her. As the angel moves in for another attack, Vinay thrusts the broken broom handle into him, applying intense pressure until he succumbs to his injuries. With his demise confirmed, they exit the theater and make their way to the bridge. At the bridge, Vinay fervently prays for a chance at a new life, but her pleas go unanswered, leaving her frustrated and angry. In a fit of desperation, she screams at the light, causing it to transform into a deep brown hue. Realizing their task is incomplete, the girls understand that they must still confront Henry, who, as the mayor, remains a grave threat to the town. Thus, both girls arrive at the town's main park with the grim determination to confront Henry. It was the same place where Henry had delivered a Christmas speech, and the crowd stood in eerie silence, their eyes glazed over, under Henry's control. Addressing the crowd, Henry denounces his brother as insane and claims to have taken matters into his own hands. Without hesitation, he fatally stabs his brother in the neck, leaving him lifeless. Henry callously dresses his brother's body as an angel and hangs it as a macabre decoration. Witnessing this horrifying spectacle, Vinay attempts to rouse the crowd from their trance, but her efforts prove futile. Henry's guards apprehend both girls and drag them onto the stage. Henry unabashedly confesses to manipulating Vinay's father's depression and orchestrating her brother's demise, along with the murders of Bernie's parents. Upon hearing Henry's chilling admission, both girls are consumed with anger. They unleash their fury upon him, prompting the townspeople to gradually snap out of their trance. As Vinay delivers a decisive blow and throws Henry down, the townsfolk join in, unleashing their pent-up rage upon him. Vinay confronts Henry's wife while Bernie disarms his guards with a swift maneuver. However, Henry manages to regain control over the crowd and returns to the stage. In a final act of defiance, Vinay plunges a knife into his stomach, ending his tyranny once and for all. With Henry's demise, the townspeople regain their clarity, and the celestial light once again illuminates the sky. In the subsequent scene, Vinay awakens from her slumber, signaling her return to her own world. Reunited with her family, she relishes in the newfound peace, knowing that the threat of the angels no longer looms over their lives. And thus, the story comes to a close. Thanks for watching, guys.